just know that every time you are bogged down, it is going to lead to growth. But if you're in a negative mindset, here's my tips. 1, take 3 days off, get off socials, get off your phone and go out into nature, go up to the Blue Mountains or go into the hinterland down in Melbourne or up into Queensland or wherever you are. Just go into a forest somewhere and spend 3 days just finding yourself again and connecting with nature. The brainwaves will reestablish in your head.
Welcome back to the Marketing Muscle Up podcast show. I'm Richard Tutungi, and if this is your first time listening, welcome. You're in for a treat today. And if you're a regular to the show, welcome back. So good to have you here. Well, today I've got a special treat. I've been trying to get this person on my podcast show for a while, but always busy and always moving forward in a lot of different things over the last couple of years. So today I wanted to get on an amazing operator in the industry. And so if you're in the Pilates business, if you're in the yoga business, even if you're in the fitness business and you're thinking about how do I actually, work in this business long term? How do I not get burnt out? How do I run a successful business and stay current in the industry? Well, today is going to talk all about that. Welcome to the show, Amanda Bracks. Good to have you here.
Hi, everyone.
Now, I'm going to read your bio that you gave me that's written, and I might go off a little bit on that. But for those who don't know Amanda, nearly 3 decades of industry experience, a studio owner, and you've also taught fitness professionals how to do sales and marketing. In fact, I remember, Amanda, I probably first met you a few years, like maybe 10 years ago, and I see it every day, but maybe I'm lying now. You've got a book. And it's in either this office or
it's behind
Joey's
you.
Office. No, it's here.
Is it?
Behind me, is it?
Is it in there?
It's,
yeah.
It is. Here it is. Customer acquisition, 465 ways to gain and retain customers. Now, we're not even probably going to talk about that today, but I just wanted to highlight 465 ways. So there's a whole bunch of things there. But Amanda, you also run a very successful business called Soulful Fitness, and you do that in Sydney. And it's, when I went to visit there, we did a studio success show. It's a really busy studio, and I want to kind of maybe today talk about how you get so many members to that, and why people are coming back for more. You've received Club of the Year. You've been inducted in the role of Honor of Australian Boutique Studio of the Year, and you've sold over 22,000 memberships and 1,000 PT packs. So I'm super keen for this episode. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I'm exhausted listening to my own history.
Yeah, well, let's talk about history. History is one thing, Amanda, but being current in the marketplace is another thing, and you've been able to stay current in the marketplace. Take me through, because I don't think you always were a Pilates teacher, were you, Amanda?
No, so I was in I've got a triple degree in environmental science and resource management. So that was my interest. And then I was selling in retail space. My dad was the largest clothing manufacturer in Australia. So I was selling in his factory. I was selling in retail shops. Clothing was my thing. And so I then was working in retail and clothing while I was at uni. I did a full-time triple degree whilst I was working full-time in the last year. So I am somebody that likes to keep busy. And doing a science degree, you have a lot of hours. It wasn't online at the time. It was a lot of chemistry, a lot of bio, like a lot of tech lab sort of hours. And so I loved the thrill of selling. I loved the reward of people feeling fantastic after they bought something. And then I played competitive touch football and sport. I played in the boys' cricket team when I was younger. I had a horse and I was always playing sport. In fact, the principal of the school always said to me when I was walking around, I'd always, wag my classes, and he'd say, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm going down the net, sir, and bowling." He's like, "Okay, off you go." So I had this sport background always. And then I thought, you know what? I was dating a personal trainer. And I thought, I want to be a personal trainer. Like, I'd sent off my resume to all the environmental science businesses. At the time, you had to be male. and have years of experience. And that's what they told me. So I went, right, well, what's my other passion in that sport? So my boyfriend was a personal trainer. I said, I want to be a personal trainer. So I thought I'm good at sales. So I sent off my resume to a couple of gyms in the area. And then I got a couple of interviews. And then the one I decided I was going to join was a Vital Health Club. And at the time, the receptionist just welcomed me so much. And I got the job at both places. There wasn't an ad going. Actually, funny enough, they were recruiting. I just sent my resume off to a heap of gyms, sucked into all the ones that didn't accept me. and I feel like Amy Sharp, singing. Tell them all I said hi. What a great song that is. I'm sure people can relate to that. But anyway, I sat in with Vital Health Club because the receptionist at the time said to me, it was so welcoming that I thought, you know what, if she can make someone that's coming for an interview feel so welcome, well, imagine what she does to the regular members. And I was only 23 and I said, I want to belong here. And such an influential thing to do is make everybody feel like they belong. And anyway, I joined there, and then within a year, I became club manager. George Holman went off to open Easy Pay, the first ever direct debit company in Australia. And then I was flying around the whole of Australia implementing direct debit into every single fitness business, golf course, leisure facility, vet. And I had massive exposure from that. We went on to win Australian Club of the Year. We had 4,500. Well, we grew the club from, it was around about 1,600 members to 4,500. We're turning over 4.5 million. I had 16 personal trainers. We would have had 100 staff, and I was only in my 20s. We won Australian Club of the Year. I won Manager of the Year, and what a great experience. What a ride that was, what a ride.
Wow. Outstanding. So you had early experiences in the early days, not just and you also said you were selling. So in the early days,
loved it.
You didn't just train, you were actually in the art of business in the early days. Is that right?
Yeah. And still to this day, I mean, I've sold memberships this month. I cleaned the toilets yesterday. Nothing changes. In fact, I try not to teach more than 2 classes a week. Whilst I am teaching, it was only ever to support my teachers. It's a great way to have in Pilates. Obviously, everybody knows the teachers it's a long time to get your course. So the shortages of teachers caused me right at the beginning to get my course. So, if it wasn't for the shortages and stuff, I probably never would have got my course, to be honest with you. I love teaching Pilates, don't get me wrong, but I love selling memberships. I love that, sliding doors moment. Yeah.
So you got into Pilates because I know there's a lot of listeners that always say, oh, I want to do, and obviously Pilates is huge at the moment. We can talk about that, but there's a lot of people that says, hey, fitness is not, like, we have a person that's doing fitness that they kind of like switch off to a degree and say, well, that's not me because I'm doing Pilates. Can you take us through this concept? Because you're cleaning toilets yesterday, you're teaching Pilates, you're doing yoga, you're selling memberships. Okay. How does one do all that, Amanda, and still be ready to go and, be the best version of themselves? What's the tricks of this?
The only trick is the to-do list. And again, going back to Vital days, George Holman spent 2 years trying to get me to do a to-do list. And I was very functional. Aries thinks that everything's in their head. So I was just like, no, I can do it. But he's like, no, I know you can do it, but this is for you. So you can sleep at night. Anyway, the best thing that ever was invented was the mobile phone with a calendar in it. Because the thing is, when you manually write a to-do list down, you've got to scrub it out and all that. Whereas this one, if you don't get things done at the end of the day, you just change the date and it moves forward to a more suitable day. So I put my personal things in there, my personal appointments. So say I need to go get a massage, or if I've got my daughter's concert on, that goes in there. My workouts go in there. If I've got to edit my newsletter, that'll go in there. And the other thing about the calendar is you can do repeats. So on about the 25th of the month, my closeout text notification will go in there saying, and it will pop up every month on the same date saying, start thinking about what your closeout text of the month will be. All my classes I teach are in my phone. And at the end of the day, I just delete them all out when it's done, or I move them on to a more suitable day. And it's so, but you can sleep. It looks hectic when you've got 20 things to do in the day, but it's not. It actually gives you heaps of space and freedom in the day.
And you're just using your normal calendar and putting everything in the calendar. If it's not the calendar, it's not getting done.
Yeah.
So simple, so effective. Because sometimes you know, as a business owner and fitness business owner or Pilates business owner, yoga business owner, whatever game you're in, sometimes you go, oh, what did I do today? But then when you actually write down everything that you did, most people couldn't even do that in a day. It's only
Absolutely.
because we just do it and we don't think about it. We just get it done, right? And
Yeah.
we get to emotion of like, oh my gosh, overwhelm.
Well, that prevention of, when they've got too much to do, that's right. It stops anybody from doing anything. You just got to put it all in your calendar. And it doesn't all have to be today. You can go, okay, well, Friday next week, I don't teach so many classes. So that's the day I'm going to be doing my newsletter, or I'm going to just do one thing. I'm going to do a blog, and then, it just all works out. So with our newsletter, it goes out on the 1st of the month. So again, by the 15th of the month in my calendar, it pops up newsletter. So either if I haven't started getting on with it, I need to get on with it by then, and then it just sort of works together. Now in the newsletter, we'll have like a little bit of information, I'll have like workshops we're doing, and all of a sudden that becomes all my social media content for the next month. And then whilst you're doing the newsletter, again, closer to the end of the month, then we just set up the Facebook page. And then, thank God Facebook's evolved where you don't need to use Hootsuite, you can just use Meta, and you go in and you can just post. So I just cut and paste all the different things out of the newsletter out of MailChimp, and I just put it all into our social media, set up all the dates to run. It goes out through Instagram as well. And then off you go. The only thing I do then is when it releases, I then post it into LinkedIn. We've got a Soulful Fitness LinkedIn page, and I add it on there. And then also in Maps on Google, I put those in independently. But not all the content goes in there anyway. So that's just the only manual thing I do on a daily basis. But otherwise, things just sort of evolve in systems,
But I love how you're really hands-on in the business, right? And you're really getting at people, sometimes overthink it and they need a person for every single thing. You're just going there and doing it. You're doing the most important activities. I do want to talk about the business Soulful Fitness for those who don't know what it is. If you can maybe explain to us when you started it and what it consists of, how many members you have, and why you started, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, so being a business consultant in the fitness industry, I was very careful not to set up a fitness business next to some of my clients or places I'd worked before. I worked with, started BlueFit, worked with Vision Personal Training, and I was just like, my mum was a naturopath and my sister has 2 yoga studios in Melbourne. I've come from a very organic upbringing of wellness anyway. So I was like, right, something else needs to happen. I've always practiced yoga. Between surfing and yoga, they were my passion, like my love for activity. Besides, I do like hitting high intensity as well. But, those things I gravitated to. And I was like, we're sitting in a cafe one day and I said to an ex-colleague of mine, we looked around, I said, where do all these people go? Like the fitness industry is only tapping into, maybe 20% of the market. 80% of Australians are saying no to the fitness brands that are available at the moment. Where's that person going? Where's that person going? And it wasn't, a disrespect of their body image. It was more of an analysis of their anatomy and their physiology. Like that person's not got strong core. That person hasn't exercised in a while. That person has poor circulation. That person is not fit. Where are they going? They're not going anywhere. So let's get something else together for them to choose. And so a friend of mine and I went to this space looking, we were going to both open a restaurant. Why not? He's a chef. And then I looked at it and he said, it's too big. And I said, stuff it, I'm going to put a yoga studio in here. And that's how it evolved. And I was looking for something, I was looking actually at the time through buying a business. I was looking at buying clubs that already had been established but weren't functioning, because I'd already taken over a few in other as a consultant and got them up and running for other people. And I've opened businesses and gyms, though I know what to do. And then I was like, I'll just start one from scratch again, because I've done that before for other people I've worked with. And then I was like, it's got to be yoga and Pilates. Those two things are low impact. They've been around yoga's been around for centuries, and Pilates has been around for at least 100 years. Let's go back to organic movement. Let's have a really non-intimidating space that everybody can come to. And it was evolved like that. And the first question we ask is the qualifying question from the day one. And now when someone walks in is, no disrespect to gyms, but we wanted a point of difference. We're like, they come in, we're like, oh, hi, welcome to Soulful Fitness. We're not a gym, right? And they're like, oh, no, I don't want a gym. We're like, well, you're in the right place, because if they want a gym, I'll refer them to 5 other gyms.
Wow, I like that. I just want to stop there for a second. So you're already basically saying straight away, you know you want a gym, and you're targeting exactly the clients you want from the start.
Because there's plenty of amazing gym brands in our area. I don't want their members. I want the 80% of Australians that are chosen, no, they don't want to do that, because I love all the fitness brands. You know that I'm passionate about the fitness industry. I do not want to take one of their members. I want to take all the people sitting on the lounge. being
Mm.
norms.
Yeah, this is great because a lot of people, they're so competitive out there in the marketplace. How do we get cut through and things like that? And it, you're right. There's most people are not in gyms and fitness centers in Australia. If we look at overall in the population,
Mm.
um, it's always like the fitness industry's done a great job getting the fitness fit people fitter. But you're looking at the totally different approach. How do you come up with that? Because most people can't see sometimes that opportunity. They go, okay, that's what this brand's doing. Let's copy them. And it's just so many copies and copies and copies and copies. We're changing the logo. How does one define and change? And I know we haven't finished talking about your business yet, but how does one change up what they're doing and find that uniqueness in their brand that they currently have?
It's interesting, but I've probably never got much. I always look external for inspiration. Every now and again you see somebody doing something in the industry and I think good for them, but I definitely don't want to copy them. I want to be the first in everything I deliver. Look, I wasn't the first person ever to run a Pilates reformer studio, but I'm sure I'm probably one of the first to run a Pilates reformer studio that has Kundalini and Reiki in it. How can you be different? And that was a good question. So when we first opened, I had lots of sleepless nights in the fetal position, crying, thinking I was doing the wrong thing. And I was thinking, right, I've got to do run club, all the things that I knew. I've got to put on walking groups. I actually was teaching a piloxing bastardizing because I'm a boxing teacher and a Pilates teacher.
You're like yin and yang. You're yin and yang all the way.
But it was wrong. It wasn't what they wanted, and I was thinking I need to do all this. And then I went away to a friend of mine. They live up in Mullumbimby. One of my best mates, he's opened a couple of bakeries years ago. And I just took a few days away and I came back and went, that's it. No, we need to do way more of what the business was set up to do, but like 100%, let's go for it. And so we put in sound healing. We had mindfulness talks by a psychologist monthly. We had a naturopath in monthly. We were doing so much yin yoga. We introduced restorative yoga. We introduced meditation. And we just, whatever the business wanted, we went down that path about 1,000,000%. We went so hard. We've got crystals all through the studio, which I studied geology and stuff at uni. I've always been into rocks and crystals and compounds like that. I absolutely love it. It's my thing. But I just went, right, instead of the fitness side, and I think Loretta Stace was the CEO of Fitness Australia. I think it was about 2016, and we're on a conference to Fernwood together. And she said, how's the fitness studio going? I said, actually, it's a mental health studio. I'm just going to detach it immediately out of that genre because everything we do is about mental health, everything. Mm-hmm. And I know the fitness industry has jumped on the mental health bandwagon, and certainly running and exercise helps it. But I mean, my members can't even drive to a studio, let alone walk in. So like they're really frail and fragile. And just never in the fitness industry have I had to pause memberships for going to hospital for 4 weeks. Wow. So meaning, they've attempted suicide or they're on suicide watch and stuff. So I've done some training with Black Dog, and even we've changed our health pre-screening sheet to actually have the symptoms of anxiety and depression. So, when people come in and ask, do you want to get fit, tone up, lose weight? Well, we've added a whole stack of things. So I've got reduce anxiety, reduce depression, reduce stress. But then under that, we know that a lot of people with anxiety and depression don't actually know they've got it, or they might think they've got it. But I've got all the symptoms from, listed by Black Dog in a webinar I did, and I've actually listed all the symptoms such as brain fog, digestion issues, restless sleep. Anyway, all those actual symptoms. So sometimes we have people not tick anxiety and depression, but they've ticked all the symptoms. Now I'm not there to diagnose them, but there's sure as hell I'm not putting them into a higher intensity class first go.
Wow. That's super interesting. That is mind-boggling. Like you really can start to a person then ticks those boxes and they go, wow, this is different straight away.
Yeah, it's look, and I think every single fitness brand needs to put on their stress reduction and is it home or work, so the person can articulate where their stress is. Stress reduction, like they don't have to put anxiety or depression. We've even got reduced PTSD on ours, and we would get like 1 in 4 or 5 people tick that box. So there's things like, improve resilience is another one. especially after COVID, like just whack improve resilience. We know strength training improves people's resilience. So if you're
Yep.
a PT, get that on there. Improve confidence, improve self-esteem, get them all on there. So it's not really about weight loss anymore. It's about these more emotional connection, and then you'll have such a better brand. And so going back to your question, Richard, that determines the brand, doesn't it? That shows what the brand's all about. And it makes it easy for me or a new 18-year-old staff member that's just on today to be able to deliver kind of a consistent service.
Yeah, love it. Cutting edge. It really is cutting edge, Amanda. You've always been there. Just quickly on Soulful Fitness, how many members do you have, and what services do you have in that facility?
So we're just over 600 members in 300 square meters. And we've got
in 300 square meters. Wow.
Yeah, we had 680 before COVID, but it's not like it's like our income's still gone up because our prices have gone up. And so our income hasn't necessarily gone up from COVID. It's just still fluctuating in a similar position, but it's not like those 80 members have dented our income horrendously, you know. So I think everybody felt the same. They lost members, but not necessarily income was affected too much on some respect. So we do 9 styles of yoga, from very restorative to workshops such as restorative, Reiki, sound healing. We do sound healing, we do Pilates reformer, and a bunch of different styles of reformer, from basic reformer all the way through to a circuit style. We have a virtual spinning studio with My Ride program. We choose to plug just the scenic ride in because the scenic ride, seeing nature, is a mood elevator, and it aligns with the yoga studio. So it's not, we don't just do the HIIT guys, because you can choose programs on the scenic My Ride, on the My Ride program, where Mike's just going hammer and tong doing 15-minute drills. We choose to go through the rides, so they can ride through Italy. And during COVID lockdown, well, not lockdown, but during the no travel zone, members were coming in just to do a nice ride so they can see Italy or see France, because we couldn't go anywhere. It was a really nice thing. It was so cool. But they can come in. That runs the 100 hours a week. It just runs every minute of the day. We have some timetabling on that, or we put on classes, but there's no teacher, there's no intimidation. Someone can come on the bikes and do their emails if they want. Like, it's just low key. They can do the program, they can just ride, they can do a 15-minute warm up before class. And then we have meditation, we do workshops, I think I said that. We do retreats. And something I haven't launched yet, but we're doing it, is community yoga. So once a month, I want to go out into the local park and just do a coin donation for Sea Shepherd or someone like that, and do that, which that's just on the next agenda. It's been on the agenda for 8 years, but we were doing it obviously in lockdown because we're outside doing it. So, you know.
So how many classes total then on the timetable?
About 80 something, and we've got 430 in our online library that you guys set up on our website. So thanks for that. That's been extraordinary. Add on for our customers. So our members can dial in and just log into over 430 seminars, videos, half-an-hour classes, 5-minute classes, workshops, whatever they like.
Yeah, wow. And so they have to book into a class. It's not like they come there and, apart from the online class you mentioned, but they're booking into a class. How many times would somebody come in your facility a week?
So before COVID, it was our average attendance was 2 or 1.85. So it was for every one member, we had a 1.85 visit. So and measuring against that, against other fitness businesses that I were working with, that was a little higher because they were booking classes. Remember, pre-COVID, no other gyms were booking people into classes. So let's just say it was 2, because on average it was, like, let's round it up to 2. The fitness industry was somewhere between 1.1 and 2. 1.1 and 1.5. Just on the clients that I work with. Your business out there might not be like that. And obviously personal training is not like that at all. But so if you had 1,000 members, I found that most businesses were doing about 1,500 visits a week. But ours was doing more because we were booking people in. I think that the gyms should have a significant increase in their attendance because of the bookings in classes. But we don't know now because of COVID. It's definitely slipped back because we're not recording who's online. So we know that. So I've been saying this, like, yoga used to have 5 times a week yoga clients. And in fact, they would do 10, 15 classes a week, because you do a vinyasa and a yin, or vinyasa and a meditation. That's definitely, like, across all the yoga studios, that's really down, because most of us now offer that they could do vinyasa in studio, and at 2 o'clock on a Saturday when we don't have a class on, they can just dial in and do one of 80 yin classes at home in their TV room. So we just don't know what impact that's having on the attendance.
Yeah, wow. Well, well done on that. The numbers and your success at Soulful Fitness. It certainly, if someone's listening for the first time, they're going to go, wow, that's such great numbers. You're doing so many classes. But I think there's a backstory here that I think people have to understand. And you've been, doing great business for 3 decades now, and you're not just in there, but you're always looking out. And sometimes I'll get random calls from you or text messages, and I got this idea, or I listened to this. This is cool, and that tells me that you're always on the pulse. You're always in the pulse. You're always thinking about something, doing about something. I guess there's 2 parts of my question. One, it's like, well, is that required in today's marketplace of business? Making sure that you're relevant, you're changing your products and your services as you feel like. How much should you do that? And then I guess I really want to dig a little bit into maybe 1 or 2 of the best marketing or sales strategies that you could share in a quick way that could easily make a big impact, if you don't mind. What are your thoughts on those?
So the first one is, if you're not interested in business, then you shouldn't run one. Like, I'm just going to be brutal, because otherwise it's going to feel like it's a ball and chain. You're going to be in a bad relationship. So if you're not into business and you own a business, my immediate thing would be like, put it on the market, sell it, and go off and do what you're passionate about. It's called the E-Myth theory by Michael Gerber, right? So like they always say, oh, you're the best Pilates teacher, you should open up your own studio. Or you're the best hairdresser, you should open up your own hairdressing salon. And then and then as an owner, instead of being the creator, your interest, then you've got to do HR, legals, accounting, tax. You've got to do, workers' comp. You've got to do marketing, online, socials. And then you're not a Pilates teacher anymore. You're not a hairdresser anymore. You're not the accountant. You're a business operator, and you have a different life. So sorry to be brutal.
I like that. So if you don't like business, don't be in business.
Yeah.
That's just so good. I think that's the quote of the year for me, because I hear that a lot. Like, hey, I'm a yoga teacher, I'm a Pilates teacher, I'm a fitness professional, I'm a personal trainer. But really what you're saying is you got to identify yourself that you want to love running a business. Otherwise, go work for someone else. That's pretty much what you're saying, right?
Yeah. If you love teaching yoga, go teach yoga, host retreats, like live your passion, live your passion. Or
very good.
Get an incredible business coach, like that just leads you along the way every month. And that's another option. So if you love yoga and you want to be a businesswoman and learn, absolutely awesome. Just get a monthly business coach that checks in and makes you accountable every month, because you can do that as well. But if you don't like either, you don't have a coach and you don't like business, get the hell out of there, because you're going to be miserable.
It's a great strategy. And I think, what I've seen over this last, post-COVID we're in now, I've definitely seen people that have been forced into that situation where their business wasn't really at the point where it should have been, going into COVID, and it was a real drag anyway.
Yeah. And
it kind of like put everybody on notice that if you're not really going to work your business, it's going to be forced. You're going to have to be forced to let it go. Have you seen that as well in your circles, Amanda?
Yeah, and they've gone, like, there's so many, aerial yoga, Pilates studios shut just even in the first lockdown, even in that first 3 months. And then we came out of COVID, and Soulful had its most profitable year in between that time, and other clubs too, because you just hang on. And if you hang on, but then the second lockdown was brutal, because then we came out, and not even the lockdown was brutal, but the 12 months after that for New South Wales and Victoria, where everyone was so scared, and all of our industry was deemed high risk continuously. High risk. Gladys was on the TV every day. High risk. Dan Andrews destroyed the fitness industry. Yet Queensland, essential services. It's amazing what a couple of words can do. So if you are one of those people that feel absolutely busted, you know what? There isn't one owner in New South Wales and Victoria that doesn't feel busted. I feel busted. We all do. But now, if you've put in the work, the rewards will come, and they're coming now through October. Through the marketing strategies, to answer part 2, a social media ad. Now, I made the mistake of doing my social media ads myself. I thought I knew what I was doing. And the actual change from that, I was spending $700 a month doing my ads myself. I know a little bit about socials. Like, I'm a marketing manager at different business brands, and I've done, part of the marketing degree in the MBA. I know some marketing,
Yep.
and I've written books on marketing and stuff like that. But, socials is a little different. But I know some things, and I actually was spending $700 a month, and I was getting very few leads. I now spend, and then I went up to 1,000, very few leads, and now I actually get an expert company to do my, and I don't spend much. So like people like Com Marketing, I refer all the time guys to you, and you spend a tiny little bit of money on an expert, and I mean a tiny bit. If you're spending a lot of money on an expert, probably the wrong expert, and your customers know all about that, and your subscribers, but it's the relationship with that company that matters the most. Actually, not even about the money. And so now I've got a professional looking at it with new eyes. I mean, our business has gone straight up, and the same amount of money spent, maybe I spend a few extra $100 a month, but the return's extraordinary. That's number one. Number two is Groupon. Everybody's going to cringe when I say that, especially if you've only got a 12-bed studio, like just a reformer bed studio. But with Groupon, you dictate the terms, and after lockdown, their business has also gone down because all their massage parlors, restaurants, beauty salons, entertainment, gyms, all their business pretty much had to close during our lockdowns as well. So we changed our credentials on Groupon to be within 6 kilometers. When they did that, that changed the game. There was no more travelers, there was no more freeloaders. It was people that lived in our community that were interested in a business. The fact that other fitness businesses don't like Groupon, that means that we stand out on that, because there's not many.
And what do you have to offer on Groupon? Because yes, I think a lot of people were on Groupon, they got off Groupon. What works on Groupon?
We make about $250,000 a year from Groupon leads, like not during COVID, but the year before, it was about $250,000 through sales through Groupon, not through them, but through add-ons. So we were offering, at first before COVID, they wanted everything. But then after COVID or during COVID, I saw the opportunity to renegotiate. So our credentials is that you've got to live within 6Ks. I mean, you could drop it to even 3. It's 5 classes for, I don't know, $39. I don't even care. Or 2 for $55. I don't even care if they don't give me any money, because I just want the lead for free, walk in the door. Then the key is the process. So we've got a little voucher made up, just made it on Vistaprint that says, it's like a Groupon /living living social promotion. You turn it over and it says you join on the first day, you get 0 joining fee, save $259, day 7 and day 14, and it just shows the different offers, and we give them the voucher. But the main thing is, don't offer all your services on Groupon. So if you're only a Pilates reformer studio, then don't offer peak classes, because then when they come, you need to upgrade them into peak classes. Well, then they need to, you could do buy a pack and you get 2 free or whatever instead of their Groupon. So for us, we're membership only. So they just have no joining fee when they come in, but we don't offer reformer. We don't offer 90-minute classes or members only classes or workshops. So half the timetable's gone, and they don't have the online library. So they come in and we say, listen, we really recommend reformer for your goals. Let's get you started onto a membership, and and then we try and upgrade them at point of sale. So Groupon, social media, and then local area marketing.
Great. I love the Groupon. I've always, over the years, it's been on and off, and I know it hasn't worked for a long time, but what you're saying is spot the opportunity, spot the trend. You're seeing everybody's off that. Now you're on it. But I think the difference here is that you're looking at it as because you understand the value of a lead, you're understanding this is a lead generation site, not a sales site. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, and you've got to have a system, and you can't ever say, oh, she's a freeloader. I mean, that's judging. Stop judging and just be appreciative for someone that has the courage to walk in and find out about your business. If you're thinking they're a freeloader or judging, you've lost them. Your attitude sucks. I appreciate every single person that walks in the door, whether they were a referral or whether they were on a voucher or whether they were, maybe we have some hairdressing vouchers at a hairdressing salon for a 7-day pass, whatever. That person's giving up the investment of sweat equity in their time. You've got to give them respect.
Totally. Well, I love that. Such good strategies there. I know we can go all day talking about local area strategy, but I think that's a great one there. All right. I want to know a couple things here, and I think we have to get you on for more of this amazing content that you've always got when we talk. Let's talk about some lessons you've learnt from a biggest mistake you've made. And I think you've sort of narrowed it down before, where it's, to continue running, we need to just get the work done, put it on the diary, move forward. Like everybody you've said that has had a business through COVID, they've been smashed, especially in the fitness industry. Some right now, people are still licking their wounds. Some people have way past that and moving forward. For those who are in a position that are just still not sure how to move forward, struggling a little bit, maybe, mentally struggling a little bit to get this business going because they've got these, I got handed a wooden stick and I'm still in that world. How to, what are some strategies that you've learned from a mistake that you've made and able to get back to it straight away?
Look, I think I posted on your social the other day or today. I thought about this for a little bit. I've had a bit of time to reflect on the biggest mistake, and without sounding too philosophical, I can't actually pinpoint the biggest mistake because at the time it feels like you're in a world of hurt, but every biggest mistake has led to amazing opportunity. And I look back and I think, wow, I thought I knew everything about socials and I was bogged down. Socials weren't working or my Facebook ads weren't working and I was pissed off with the world. And then I, finally bit the bullet and reached out to a friend of mine and I asked, hey, who are you doing for your socials? And, I got advice from a lot of friends saying, you know what you're doing, just keep doing it yourself. And I was like, yeah, I'm not happy with the results. And the moment I flipped that and went to someone like yourselves with some expertise and got some direction and then just offhanded that, and all of a sudden it was something I didn't have to do. It was pressure off my back. And then all of a sudden we're getting, a huge amount of leads a month that, most of them are qualified, so it's just like, wow, that was probably, I wish I did that earlier, but whether that's a good lesson, so it became a great growth avenue. So I actually don't look back at it as a mistake, but at the time you feel like you're just bogged down, things aren't going to change, everything sucks. But just know that every time you are bogged down, it is going to lead to growth. But if you're in a negative mindset, here's my tips. 1, take 3 days off, get off socials, get off your phone and go out into nature, go up to the Blue Mountains or go into the hinterland down in Melbourne or up into Queensland or wherever you are. Just go into a forest somewhere and spend 3 days just finding yourself again and connecting with nature. The brainwaves will reestablish in your head because of nature. Everything will balance back out again, and just do nothing. Get grounded. Because if you're not grounded, doesn't matter how many ideas you've got, you're not implementing zero. You're implementing zero, aren't you? You need to be grounded. So get your shit together, people.
Yeah. I like it. Get grounded, get in the forest, get a tent and just chill out, hey, for 3 days.
Do nothing, and yes, the first day is going to be hectic. It's going to be like a brain detox, but do nothing. And then, you can do some yoga, you can do some stretches, you can go for a walk, you can hike, great. But just seriously, the best way to look at something is like when I was first open Soulful, is when I went up to Byron and, just laid on the floor and on a mattress in my friend's house for 3 days, talking to them about their bakery and how they set that up. And then I came back and I just knew exactly what I needed to do by not being in the business and just been away. So that's my advice. And then the other thing is, while you're away, if you want to write a list of things to do, go for it, and get your shit together. Start one thing and then do another, and then do another, and then do another, and get those things on your to-do list replicated. And then you've got a whole bunch of spinning plates. So get one going, then get another one going, go back, check that one's still going, spin this one, go back and check these are spinning. Then you've got all your systems. You don't have to do it all today, but just get something going. And you got to make mistakes. And as long as you learn from your mistakes, they're worthwhile making, hey?
Wow. I like that. Such practical advice. Makes sense. I do believe that we've got a lot of messages coming to us every day. That's certainly not the problem, is it? Where we get this information from. It's just how much clarity we actually have in our minds. In social media, phones, they're such great devices, but I think used incorrectly. And I mean, who's actually told us how to use these things correctly? Nobody. But I really believe that maybe there needs to be some, course on how to goddamn use social and how not, in regards to when I should turn my phone on off or not. But it really is a massive problem that we all get to, because the makers of social media and these devices, they're genius, and it's an addictive piece. As soon as we get off them, it's always much better. I always feel much better. I mean, just get off for an hour, get off for 2 hours. It's like, wow, I can think again.
Well, the psychologists have said that, even going on Facebook, you straight away release cortisol. So that's not good for you. If you're drinking coffee, having releasing that, and you've got cortisol released. You're in stress hormone before you start the day. How good are we going to function when we do that? And I love going on social media. For all of you out there that know me, I'm all over it. But you know, I get addicted to it too, and I don't get addicted to the ticks and likes anymore. I think that was the original thing. You know,
Yep.
I think I'm on the other scale. Like, I'm not addicted to it. I just want to see what friends are doing because I miss them during lockdown. You know, the lack of social interaction. We've all relied on our phones for the connection. But, you know, we had this amazing party we did on Friday night. Yeah, God, that was good. That just brought us back. It felt tribal, you know, we were dancing.
The Oz Active
and
party, yep.
it was amazing. And so we just need to detach. We need to do stuff that makes us feel human. And so just to combat all the government stuff that was coming out, you know, like high risk and all these words, you know, like they left junk food shops open, alcohol shops open. Alcohol deaths have gone up higher than any other in the last 10 years. They were just released by the Australian Bureau of Statistics. Death rates from alcohol highest last year than any other period in the last 10 years. Why? I wonder why. Because you just promoted it like it was going out of fashion. And so what you can do is you can get all worked up about something like this, like I do, and then you can go out and be practical about it. I posted that in my Soulful Fitness member group and let them bloody well know that this shit's not acceptable. And so if you're pissed off about something in the way the fitness industry is being treated, or, you know, if you've got a way around it, go and post about it and start building a tribe, blog about it. Like we've been hashtagging, do more of what makes you feel human, be human. Like all our posts around connection and being human and being in nature. So, you know, don't feel suppressed and that the government's, you know, shut you down and be hard done by it. Go out and educate your community about how amazing life is with all these things in it. And that way it will empower you to, you'll get a return eventually, but it might just help you psychologically.
I think so. I mean, this has been absolutely amazing. I always enjoy our conversations. I'm definitely going to get you on. I'm going to get you on here for more. So you may hear Amanda back more. I'm going to get, if you like this episode, let us know. And if you want to get Amanda back, let us know. I always love having chats with you.
Sorry, it's a bit hardball too, guys. Like I'm really fun. I really just like, I think you've touched on a few things that are obviously pressing on my nerves too. So, you know, look, there's no doubt about it. I've had anxiety. I've had PTSD. I'm not going to say I've got anxiety. I'm just saying there are moments that there are days that I couldn't function as well as what I could have as well. Every single person in Australia has had anxiety or got anxiety. I'm going to just put it down to, especially in New South Wales and Victoria. So sorry for being so passionate about this, but guys, you know, we've all been through it. I just wanted to just give a disclaimer on my delivery.
No, we love you, Amanda. This has been outstanding. Now, if you want to connect with Amanda, you do a lot of things, but Soul Fitness is .com.au and soulfulfitness.com.au or just bracksconsulting.com or just on my socials, just Amanda Bracks. Bracks Consulting and Amanda Bracks, you'll see it. And we look forward to seeing you at our immersive. If you're listening to this before or after, you're going to be one of our speakers there. We always love having you. So be great to, you know, continue this conversation and go really deeper in the marketing strategies that you've got lined up at the moment, which is really cool. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you. Good luck, everybody.
Yes. And I think the title of this podcast can become two things. You can decide. Number one is do stuff that makes you feel human. That's option one. Option two is get shit done. Which one do you prefer, Amanda?
Number one. Because number one leads to the results of number two. If you do more of what makes you feel human, you'll get so many rewarding results done.
Yeah, this is outstanding. Always great. Guys, if you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more of these, go to our website, commarketing.com.au. You can hear a whole bunch of other experts talking about what they do in marketing, talking about how they grow their business as well. If you do need help and you say, listen, enough's enough, I want to get shit done, as Amanda says, go to our website and book in for we call a marketing muscle up, and we'll help you get shit done. Thanks, Braxy. I'll catch you guys next time on the Marketing Muscle Up podcast show.